Hello and welcome to episode 10 of My Cyber Why. This is the video cast where we talk to people around the world about the amazing and interesting things they do to help keep us secure every day. There's no end to headlines that are scary and telling us about hackers and all what the bad guys do, but what you may not understand or realize is that there are so many of us that are working every day to help keep people safe and doing a lot of different things to accomplish that goal. And one person who's doing an amazing thing, you may not even know how much work goes into this, is Britta Glade, who is the head content director the content director for the RSA Conference. Hello, welcome, Britta.
Hi, Diana, good to be here.
All right, Britta, we start out, it's 4 questions, and the first one is, who's Britta?
Ooh, it's like a game show, 4 questions. Who is Britta? So Britta is a mother. Britta is a Southern Californian who therefore enjoys all things about being outside and in particular tennis. Britta loves tennis, scuba diving, all that good stuff.
Very active. Okay, and Britta, what does it mean? What do you do every day for your job?
Oh, every day. That's probably a tricky question for any of us. All of us do different things every day, right? So I am the director of content and curation for RSA Conference, which means I have the wonderful opportunity of working with so many amazing professionals across this community. You being one of them, which is awesome. We have the program committee, which makes our selections for our conferences. And then truly the community. There are so many, as you mentioned, and that's why I love the concept of this show. There are so many amazing people in this industry doing so much individually and collectively. And that's powerful and impactful. And I am lucky that I get to engage with so many of them on a daily basis.
And as head of there's not just one RSA conference, right? You actually run multiple conferences around the world. Is that correct? And you're involved in all of them?
We do, yes. I oversee the content for everything that conference does. So of course, the U.S. event is the flagship. That's the big one everyone knows of. We actually do, about 25% of the attendees there are international. So while it's US, it truly serves an international audience. And then we do APJ, which takes place in Singapore in July timeframe. And then we have what we call Unplugged. Those are one-day content-only conferences that are offered in other markets across the globe. This year we had an Unplugged in Thailand. We worked with ETDA, the government entity there asked us to bring content. And then in October, we have Unplugged in Sydney. We have worked with the government of New South Wales as well as AustCyber to bring a one-day event to complement a week-long focus on cybersecurity that takes place in Australia.
And about how many submissions do you get for the flagship conference for US?
Oh, yes. We had almost 2,300 submissions this year. So the call for speaker process closed a couple weeks ago. Yeah. I read each and every single one of those in order to divide up that content for then deeper review and ultimate selection by our individual program committees. So a question you might be asking, because many people do, is when I submit, who actually sees it, we make sure that as many possible eyeballs see viable submissions. So there might be 3 or 4 tracks of comprised of 2 to 4 program committee members reviewing those submissions. Again, the collective power and enthusiasm and desire of this community to engage and inform and educate and work together is amazing. So we want to make sure everything gets as many possible consideration and usage points as possible.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been asked, because I'm a program committee, I've been asked, does Britta and Hugh, do you really read all of the submissions before they go to program committee? And I said,
each and every single one.
Yeah.
To be honest, we remove anything that's a blatant sales pitch. As we know, conference exists as a vendor product solution neutral educational opportunity. And submissions are getting better and better every year. We put up FAQs, we put up samples of submissions, we put up as much guidance that we hope will be valuable to submitters for conference. And frankly, I work with my counterpart for other events too. And this isn't different for what we're doing. I think the guidance there is viable guidance for any different event that's done. Because the goal, we all have the same goal, which is good quality education for the community at large. We all benefit from a safer world, and that's the end game. But yeah, we review each and every one of them. My family doesn't see me for about 3 weeks as I'm hunkered down, reviewing submissions and trying to get things aligned so that our program committee members who do have day jobs like you, we make best use of your time and your reviews so that when you meet together and you debate it out, and as you know, there's some very healthy debates that happen amongst the program committee members, we can, as a group, arrive at the best possible content to bring to our community at the event.
So that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
A lot of work. And why? So what is your cyber why? What's your passion as you're doing this and putting in all that time, not seeing your family for weeks? What is it that really drives you?
My cyber why is reflective of the smile on your face right now. Honestly, it's again, there is so much good in this community. There is so much need for good in this community. We need to work together. We need to behave like a group. We need to help lift everyone as a whole. And that's where, yeah, there's days when it gets long. There's days when it's like, oh my goodness, can you do another 18-hour day? But the end game, the week of RSA Conference US is an absolute high. Looking at people interacting in the hallway, huddled together over tables, just it's those sparks, it's those connections that are made of individuals. At the end of the day, we serve individuals. We serve the community, the profession as a whole. But when I feel like I've done my job is when I see that spark, when I see those people, when I hear stories about, oh my goodness, we sat next to each other at a session last year and we're submitting together this year. Yeah. I'm a lawyer and a deep dive, create code DevOps person who, where else in the world would they intersect even? And yet they're having this valuable conversation. And as a community, we're made up of lots of different disparate groups, and we need to intersect. We need to find those spark moments. That's what makes me excited. So, you think, ooh, doing a conference year after year after year every year, doesn't it just, it's rote, you just go with whatever, but it's not. It's this industry changes, the people change, and at the end of the day, it's finding and making moments for the best possible connections to be made.
Yeah, and it's true. It's where the security world meets, and I
Yes.
agree. Having been going there for years and years, it's lovely to see new friendships and groups formed and people growing over their careers too. You see somebody who wants to speak, and then they're on
Yes.
stage a couple years later, and it's like, yes.
Yes, and we've talked to, we have programs. We have what's called the Security Scholar Program. We've scholarships. We pay to bring in 80 of who's deemed by their professors to be the best minds. And these are the best minds, again, across the cross-discipline that RSA Conference represents. And hearing these stories about these, this is our future, and seeing them and putting together these opportunities for them to meet, Ron Revest, and a student that's like, oh my gosh, your name is on my textbook and I'm sitting next to you and I can ask you questions real time. But then the Diana Kellys, there are so many layers of people at different stages in their career, and people who are, we won't call it end stage of their career, but people at the give back place who are wanting to to educate that next generation. And there is an excitement, and there is a buzz, and there's a whole lot of formal, but there's a whole lot more informal that happens at RSA Conference, and we feel responsible for helping those connections to be made. In fact, you'll see a whole lot of new things this year in 2020 in and around those personal connections being made, and because at the end of the day, that's what matters. It's those one-on-one connections that become your network, that become your friends, and we all like doing things where we have friends, right? So it's building those friendships and those deep networks that'll serve you through your career.
And even the theme this year, right, is the human element.
Yes, the human element, which it's so interesting looking at how that was interpreted. Probably more than I've ever seen direct interpretation into the call for speaker submissions that were made. There's the obvious ones about how do we train security awareness, social engineering, what's being done to the human. There's the how does the human interact with technology, i.e. automation and agility and all of that. But it was fascinating to look at how people really, because I do think we're at a pivotal point in our industry, and that's what, when we arrive at our theme every year, we really look at what do we feel like is the most impactful thing that's going on, and this place where I think a couple years ago the fear of the human being automated out, and there's still a sense of that in some of the submissions, but really it's there's an empowerment to technology should be something that's made to enhance our ability as superhumans. But at the end of the day, you look at some really interesting CISO submissions in and around culture. How do you create and drive and inspire and put together the right teams that, physical, logical security, teams that maybe didn't have to work together as much before, that are now. So I'm very excited. This theme really seemed to resonate with people, humans. Us humans saw some opportunities here, and I really believe we've got the frameworks for some good education this year. I'm excited to see what the program committee selects.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the submissions too.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah. It's going to be hard. Okay. Your work is cut out. It is.
We'll do our best. A lot of people want to speak at RSA, or they're going for the first or second time. What's your advice to somebody who maybe wants to speak there or get the most out of the conference?
Ooh, there's two questions there. I'm going to start with the second one, the get the most out of conference. And we always do an orientation webcast. We do a physical meeting on site because, going back to the theme of human nature, as humans, many of us tend to, we get there and we're going to figure it out when we're there. I got this, I got this covered. Plus, I'm getting ready to be gone for a week. I'm jamming and so busy getting my job done. I'll deal with figuring conference out when I get there. That's tough to do at an event as large as RSA Conference. So I really, if you want to get the most out of it, I would recommend spending some time, at least a month out. The agenda will go live early December. So that's almost 3 months before you're going to physically be on site. And I don't expect you over the holidays to be going through and doing that, although many do. We see a spike in people doing their reserve a seat during that time. So good way to use
They've
time
got
off.
some free time.
Absolutely. Yeah. But do thoughtfully look at how you're going to approach it. We have the reserve a seat function. Some people love it, some people hate it. And you're going to get into the session. But we are very careful with looking at, we have heat map that we move things around. We want to make sure that you get what you want out of the conference. However, if you reserve a seat, it just puts you in the fast track line. You get there, you get your seat, so methodically think about, why am I going? What do I want to learn? Sometimes you'll go as an individual, you're the only person from your company. So maybe query others with what information can I gather for you? How can I when I come back to you, how can I deliver the best info? Or you might be there with an army of people and you're doing the divide and conquer approach. Whatever your approach, spend some time looking at the agenda so that you have a plan. We will be in we've tightened the size of the campus this year. We will not have content over at the Marriott. It's only a block away. However, it's a block away. So the bulk of your content you'll find within West, and then some of the specialty content over in South, which is just diagonal across the road. You can get there. But even if you're within one building, if you're finishing a session and flipping your mobile app, you're looking at what's next, it's a little too late. You want to give yourself some time to explore and discover. And gosh, I sat next to this amazing new friend in my last session, Diana. We're going to go find some time. That's great. Be opportunistic, but have a plan also. So that's what I would recommend to if you want to get the most out of it, just like with most things in life, put some preparation into it so that you know what you're trying to do. So that's part B of your question. Part A of your question, which is the interest in speaking. So our call for speakers process has closed for this year. So there are almost 2,300 of you that will be waiting with bated breath until mid-November when you'll be notified. And you say to yourself, why is it not until mid-November? And it's because we have this army of program committee folks who do have day jobs, who are needing to, we're asking them, hey, go through all of this, make compromises with your partners. It takes time. It takes time to put together a program this size. And then to look at, so we have the individual trees, if you will, that the tracks are looking after. And then we have to look at it as a forest with to look at, because again, multiple tracks are reviewing things. Multiple tracks may select things. And then we get into alternate status. And so it takes some time to construct the whole. But so if you want to speak, you may have submitted. You'll be finding out in that time frame. If you did not submit, there'll be other opportunities that manifest themselves along the road. As I also indicated, we're going to be doing some things to help encourage one-to-one and one-to-few meetups throughout the week. So you'll see some more information going on about that. That's not speaking per se. It is facilitation, it's interaction, it's smaller group experiences. We know that RSA Conferences is big. We know that. There's good to big, there's challenge to big. Yeah. And we want to help create these small experiences that do help, again, individual to individual, sparks to fly, connections to be made. And we're putting a lot of work into that this year. I hope and I do believe that will be something that really resonates with our attendees that are there.
Yeah, and especially on the peer-to-peer, I love that because it's the opportunity for a lot of smart people to bring in, instead of you're up there as the expert and you're telling everybody something. The peer-to-peers are great because you're bringing a number of smart people into the room. And I did a peer-to-peer at the conference this year, the 2019 conference. And it was amazing because I thought that the conversation was going to go in one direction. And we had experts from, other companies, really big, deep experts, and they took the conversation in a totally different direction. And it was just so enlightening for the whole team and for me, it was just so I agree.
Yeah, you're sitting, and that is, your peers having a conversation, and there's birds of a feather opportunities that do the same thing. We're building on those concepts of helping with those connections. And when people come with a open mind is the wrong word, but come with goals. Come with goals of what you want to learn. And there's some great formal, official content that's going to help you. There's also, you're surrounded by a whole lot of people with a whole lot of experience. So finding those informal opportunities, those ways to connect, and you'll see an enhanced focus on that with some of the offerings at conference this year. So come with what you want to learn, come with what you want to, people you might want to meet, and questions you want to spin up, because you have good opportunity for both.
And you can't miss sessions, because that's.
And you can't miss.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Sometimes reading the verbatims, there'll be the complaint of, gosh, I wanted to be in 3 or 4 places at once. Don't do this to me. And it's a good problem to have. I would rather that than there's nothing that's interesting to me. And that's the other thing. Everything is, assuming the speaker consents to it, because we do respect, clearly, if there's a speaker who doesn't want to be recorded, we're not going to record that. But all of the content is recorded. We capture the audio along with the slides, and that's available on our site. There's weeks, months, years later for some of the things. There's evergreens with some professional development and things like that. That resource is out there for you on the website now. Return to it. Go to it when you're interacting with folks back at your own company. Point people to things there, because there's a whole lot of good jammed into a week at conference, and it's a fire hose if you don't have a plan. It's a strong running hose if you do have a plan.
Yeah.
But it's there's a lot of rich resource for you to be able to be going back to hopefully enhance you as a professional.
Britta, thank you. Thank you for sharing that information, but also thank you for what you do every year. I don't think people understand that there's really a face behind all the amazing content and what happens at RSA, and you are that face.
Well, I appreciate that, but what's nice is I am a face of many, and it's a face like yours who I say the thank you right back. It really is. There's almost 100 people there's no one really like Diana, but there's like 100 the professionals who serve on the program committee who really do, this is your night job. This is your passion. And that, to me, you talk about what is it that, what's the spark? The spark is that it's not me on my own, because honestly, that would be really scary and very overwhelming. I'm a herder of cats, but they're really smart cats, and they're cats who are really, that we have a shared passion for creating this experience for our community to help us to shine. And that's exciting. That's exciting. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to I call it being Switzerland. I have, the only agenda I have is to serve the community. And that's a really fun thing, to be able to meet, talk to, and work with really smart, diverse people every single day. It's awesome.
Yeah, and help to bring the education around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that information. We're looking forward to seeing you it's February in 2020, right?
Indeed, February 24 to 28 in San Francisco. So hopefully I'll see you. I know I'll see you, but hopefully, I'll see all of the virtual yous that are out here.
Yeah.
Because you're the power, you're the community. And when you get together, great things happen. So we're lucky that it happens at conference, and we really do look forward to welcoming the community.
Thank you, Britta. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next month.
Indeed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.